Hi everybody, welcome to a new project on my channel, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. Today we are going to start a mini album using this beautiful collection, Grand Hotel. You will have seen the flip through. I will have posted it before this so you know what we're doing. And we're just going to get started. I'm not going to fuss around too much because you will have already seen, as I said, the preview. I did actually record almost the entire construction of the base of the book and then realized the camera wasn't recording. So we're going to do it for a second time. And here I have a couple of base pages. And let's see. Let me bring up, I want to bring up the cut list so I can tell you what size all these are. Hang on a minute. There we go. Okay, so the base pages, you're going to need 4 pieces 5.5 by 9.5 and 4 pieces 6.5 by 8.5. And let me show you. Let me grab here. Hang on. Okay, here's a 12 by here's a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. I actually made this book fully in blue, so I have this handy. Oh my goodness, there's my kitty. Okay, come. She's been howling all day. Okay, so originally I wanted to make this book 6 by 8. The reason for that being that if I cut 6, I could cut it 6 here and I'd get 2 pieces out of each piece of cardstock. I'd be able to get a full page. But if I went any bigger than that, then I could only get 1 piece and I would have to use 2 pieces of cardstock for every page. And I'd have to use 8 where I could otherwise have used 4. But if I made it 6 inches wide, you couldn't do a 4 by 6 photo on the pages. I'm sorry. Come here, baby. Oh, I know. Down you go. Good girl. So I kind of had that dilemma that I definitely wanted it bigger than 6 inches wide, but I also didn't want to use 8 sheets of cardstock to make my base pages. So what I came up with, set this aside, is, well, here's one. Okay. So here's the base page. It's 6.5 by 8.5. So this piece is 6.5 by 8.5, and then normally you would need another piece 6.5 by 9.5. At least that's the way I normally do it. But what I did is the back page is 5.5 by 9.5, and so you end up with this like a pocket, because I mean you always had a pocket anyway on a side pocket, but you can't usually see it. Usually if these 2 pieces are even, this is where the spine would be. So that's how we're doing it. And then the way you'll cut it is take your full piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, cut a strip 6.5 inches wide by 8, and then cut that to 8.5. The piece you have left over will be 5.5, and cut that to 9.5. And that way you will get a full page front and back out of 1 sheet of cardstock. So you'll only need 4 sheets to make the base pages. You're going to need a lot more than that to make the book, but at least it saves you 4 extra sheets out of it. Okay, so let me show you how to actually make the pages. This is the same as we usually do. It just looks a little different because one of them's narrower. So this piece is the finished size of the page. You need 4 of them. I think I mentioned 6.5 by 8.5. Then you want your smaller or narrower piece, the 5.5 by 9.5. Put this in your scoreboard with this edge, the longer edge, the 9.5 along the top. Score at 1/2 inch and at 9. So that means you have 1/2 inch at each end, just like we would normally do. And then you want to take, and if you're going to use score tape, you can go ahead and put the tape right up against that score line. Otherwise, if you're using art glitter glue, as I typically do, then you can put it on later. I don't know why I decided to use score tape today, but I did. And then, actually, let me fold it over. So you want to take these and fold them towards the bump. So you will have taped the side with the divot, and you're going to fold them in towards the bump. I don't know if you can hear my cat. She has been howling her head off all day. Okay, there we go. And my channel is the Quiet Cat. The cat that I had previous to adopting these 2 kittens was mute, so that's where that comes from. Clearly not from this young lady. Okay, So I just did a little test fit. Just make sure it's, you know, fits top to bottom. Make any adjustments. And you want to just, you know, just peeling off a couple inches of the tape. And you just want to, I may have to pick this up where you can't see it because my eyes today are really bad. Just make sure you match that corner up really carefully. Line everything up across the bottom. And just lay that down, hold it well, and just pull out the tape. There we go. And I never used to do it this way with the tape, but I've seen a bunch of tutorials where people were doing it this way. I know Rosa Kelly, I think, does it this way, and maybe Daphne from Scrap and Create, I'm thinking. So I've started doing it this way. It's a lot easier. And then you just want to, I'm going to pick this up because I really can't see it. Just line up this second corner, same thing. And make sure it's even across the top. There we go. And burnish well. Okay, so there we go. There's our page. Okay, and we have 4 of these. I've already made the others. Okay, now let's get... I'm pulling out I went through and recut everything because I had, like I said, completely screwed it up. But I had made the cut list, so there's that. So that part of it at least went quicker. And I think rather than pulling out my big scoreboard, I'm just going to pull out my little one. Okay. All right, so this piece is our 3 7/8 by 4 3/8. So you want to put the 4 3/8 inch side along the top and score it at 1/2 inch. This is a pocket, and it is 6 by 4, and score the 2 short ends at 1/2 inch and 1 of the long ends. And then this is a large flap, and this is 5.5 by 8.5. Put the 5.5 inch side along the top and score at 1/2 inch. And I just need to slide mine up a little bit. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to put that aside. And let's take one of our base pieces. And you have the double check when you're doing this, okay? This is the spine, right? When you turn the page, and this is the spine, you need to make sure this shorter, this like open pocket bit here, I hope you can see that, is on the left. In other words, you want it on the right while you're working on this page, and when it turns, it needs to be on the left. Be careful that you don't end up with it so that it ends up down here, okay? You want it so that it ends up there. All right, so let's put that there. And what we have is this flap, and let's go ahead and fold in where we scored it. Sorry, I'll get that out of the way. And give it a good burnish, want it nice and flat. Okay. I'm going to need to, I just realized I'm going to need to order magnets. I used a ton of magnets on the one that you you didn't get to see me make. Okay, so this flap is going to go here, okay? And there's going to be a pocket here, and that is this pocket right here. So before we go too far, I'm measuring this pocket to see, and it looks a little wide to me. So I am going to just score again. I'm going to give myself just a little bit. You can see there where I just made a little extra, just so I could fold it in a little bit more. Okay. It's, even if you've measured carefully, even if you've cut carefully, you always can benefit by doing that dry fit, because you don't want to find out after you've got glue on something that it's not going to fit. All right, so let's take another look. And this one should be, if you're going to err, it should be a little bit too small than rather too big, because you don't want to interfere with this flap. Okay, that looks good. And hang on, just to make it easier to see. Okay. So you want to go, you don't want to ever go past the score line. Just cut out those corners at an angle, and then cut the upper corners. Whoop. Okay. And you can use score tape if you want. I'm going to just use my art glitter glue. And I'm just going to give it another little burnish right on the corners. Okay. And when you're doing pockets, you want the side pieces to go in first and then the bottom piece to come up. It'll just make it a little bit less likely things are going to catch on this bottom piece that you put in the pockets. Okay. And put this down. There we go. Hope I got that on straight. Huh? It's a little wonky. Okay. Right. Okay. Now we're going to take this flap. And we're going to add it to the book, and we need to make sure, again, just triple check, make sure you have it in the correct place. So this is the spine, it's coming up, here's that opening here, and this flap is going to go here. Okay. And let me go ahead and trim these corners. Okay. Whoop. Glue came spurting out. There we go. Okay. And okay. This is, if I haven't already said, Artisan Cardstock from Country Craft Creations. Oh, jolly. So pathetic. Yes, Artisan Cardstock from Country Craft Creations. Pretty much all I use, unless I just happen to have something older in my stash that I'm reaching for. Okay, so there's that. Okay. All right, and then we have this last little piece. And this is a flap, and it has been designed to be to accommodate one of the small little square cut-aparts in the collection. If you're using a different collection, then go ahead and adjust as need be for whatever cut-aparts you have. Okay, and this is just going to go here, about halfway. I'm going to eyeball it, and then it'll go across there. Okay, and I'm just eyeballing the top to bottom. Make sure that's good, and that is good. Okay. There. Okay, so I mentioned that I probably am going to need to buy magnets. I'll order them in the morning, or I might order them tonight. Part of the reason is some of these pages This one in particular, I think this is the only one. I used 3 magnets. Whoop. I will show you why. There's one. So I'm trying to get them apart. My nails are a hot mess, but I don't really want to make them any worse than they already are. What is it, honey? Okay, just trying to keep them far apart so they don't stick to each other. Okay, I know. This girl, that's Mama's girl. Okay. All right, so my reasoning for using 3 magnets. All right, I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put one here, and I also wanted one here. Maybe on this particular one, because I'm running out of magnets, I'll only do 2 for now, and I may add the 3rd later. There's going to be things in this pocket. There's going to be mats here. There's going to be mats here, mats here, mats here. And I was just worried that 2 wasn't going to do it. And that's why I'm putting this magnet on the outside, where normally I'd put it on the inside. Although I could actually put it here, because it's going to be covered, or rather it's, you know, there'll be a mat here, but whatever's going in the pockets won't block it. So I guess we'll do it that way, and let's see how that does. And then we may or may not add the 3rd one. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this first one. All right, magnets are, they're not cheap, but they're not crazy expensive either. But they are, I mean, they do add up when you put like a dozen of them in a book. All right, so we're going to put the first. Now, hang on. I want it a little more to the top than the center because I don't want to run into this pocket. Okay. There's that. Okay. Of course, if I do it, I probably should have done this one first. Well, I've made things more difficult for myself, unless I put it on the outside. No, I'm going to put it on the inside. Hang on. Let's fix. Okay, damage that paper, but it's going to be matted, so it'll be all right. Let's try this again. All right, so we're going to put this one. So I'm kind of changing my mind as I go along here. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's your pocket. I don't know if you can see that. Do we have a... Looking for a little scrap. Okay, so here's our pocket, and I want to make sure that I want you to be able to see. I want this magnet above that pocket. So right about there, I think looks good. And let's see how that works out. If that's there. That's there. Okay. Okay. Whoops. Hang on. What did I do with that? Let's grab this little piece. Okay, that's good. And you can, I don't know if you can see that it's not really holding it tight down, and that's why I was thinking of adding a 3rd magnet. But let's play it by ear and see. All right, now let's turn this over carefully. So now we have our little short, I don't know what to call it, like a short pocket there on that side. And we are going to do a long pocket here. That's kind of going to echo this pocket. It'll look like a double pocket, and it'll work like a double pocket. So let me get rid of this. I don't want to lose it. Where can I put it? Right there. Okay. And this little scoreboard is really not quite big enough for this, but that's all right. Just flip it over. Okay, so I'm going to score each, just like any other pocket, we're going to score each of the short ends at a 1/2 inch. I don't know why I say every other pocket, but many of the pockets that we make at a 1/2 inch. And then score one of the long sides at a 1/2 inch. I don't know, I'm trying to find an angle that you guys can see. There we go. And let's go ahead and, just like with that previous pocket, we're going to cut out the corners. And I'm cutting just up to, but not past the score line. There we go. Clean some of this out. All right. Sorry about that little black wire. If you can see it, that's my microphone cord. And just like before, let's just check and make sure it fits. And that looks like a good fit. Okay. And okay, there we go. Now, let's double check. Here's our the opening. Okay. The spine is here on the right now because this is the back of page 1. This is page 2. And we're going to put this pocket also up against the right side. Okay. So we're going to have this double pocket happening. This album I talked about in, sorry, I picked this up so I could see it to glue it. We talked about in the design basics on this particular paper. I did a video on how I designed this album because of the paper, like how the paper dictated the album. And one of the things about this paper is it's very much a vertical paper. It has a lot of verticality. It has these wallpaper prints, and so I was trying to get a lot of more vertical elements in this book as opposed to horizontal. And of course you could turn some of the verticals on their side and get a horizontal, or you may not have a paper that is the same way, but I don't know, that's just the way this paper seemed to want to be to me. And let me just make sure I got that on straight. Not perfect, but not bad. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's page 1, there's page 2. Okay. Now, page 3 is really easy. It's just a flap. So let me just set this aside. And let's grab another base page. And page 3. All right, so this is a flap that's 5 3/4 by 6 1/4. This was sized to fit the large cut aparts in the paper. So you want to put the larger size across the top of the scoreboard, and that is the 6 1/4, obviously. Okay, and you want to score it a 1/2 inch. Okay, this is easy. And then we're going to trim the corner. And fold that in towards the bump again. I always fold towards the bump assuming I don't forget, but that's what I usually do. And this is going to go on the spine side, so that's going to be over here. Let's make sure I've got it correct. I do, so I'm going to turn this. It's going to go here. And when I made this the last time and didn't record it, I thought I was recording, but it didn't record. I held this flap with a magnet, but I'm not going to hold it with a magnet this time, just because, I mean, I have enough. It's not that I'm out of magnets, but I thought about it after, and I'd like to incorporate some seam binding or other ribbons into this, because it's a very feminine and kind of Victorian frou-frou sort of collection, and that's a technical term. And so I think I'm going to maybe close this one with a ribbon or a seam binding bow or something like that comes across the top. We'll see, but if we want a magnet, we can always add it later, but for now I'm going to leave it magnetless. Okay, so that's page 3. Super easy, right? Okay, now page 4. Okay, remember, now we have this opening to the left. And let me reach page 4. Pages 4 and 5 are a little, they're not tricky, but they're very, well, I'll explain as we go along. Okay, so what I'm going to put here is a flap that's the same size, finished size as this shorter bit, right? So what you need is a piece 6 by 8.5 for this. So let me go ahead, and it's a flap. So just put the 6-inch side along the top and score it a 1/2 inch. Okay. Okay. And oops, get my pin out there. And trim your corners. And where I'm using art glitter glue for all this, you could certainly use score tape if you prefer. I used to only use score tape for this, for assembly of my books. And then I started using the art glitter glue, which I really like, especially when I'm doing a tutorial, because it's just quicker. But certainly, you know, it's a personal choice. Feel free to use the score tape. There's no reason not to. Just checking this for fit. It's fine. It's going on this side, the spine side, not this shorter side. I mean, you could put it on the shorter side if you wanted, but for our purposes, actually, it would be better if you put it on the spine side, which you'll see in a moment when we get to page 5. Again, I apologize for pulling this up close to me to do the adhesive. It's just some days I see better than others, and today's not a good day for that. I mean, it's a good day otherwise. Okay, there we go. And we're just going to put this down, and that looks a tiny bit long up here. See that where it's overhanging a little? It's fine. I'm just going to let it dry, let the glue thoroughly dry, and I'll just go in and trim that little bit extra off. I don't know if you can see, it's just a tiny bit, but I'll trim that off. Okay, so what we have here, this is page 4, the page we just did. So this opens up, you have this pocket that we created when we made the base, and this flap, right? So the page that's going to face this, let me grab that. Okay, it goes like this, right? And this is the whole page, okay? It doesn't have the little short pocket, that's back here. But what I want to do is create the appearance that these two are mirror imaged. So for page 5, we're going to make the identical flap. So you're going to need a piece 6 by 8.5 for that flap. Okay. And then we're also going to make a pocket that's going to emulate this pocket. So for that, whoops, you need a piece 6 by 9.5. Okay. So I'm going to set this aside because we're done with it. And we're going to make this page. Okay, so let me grab my scoreboard. Probably I should be using the bigger scoreboard. I'm not going to though. I just don't feel like getting it out. Okay. All right, so for the flap, we're going to do that just like we just did. And you're going to put the 6-inch side across the top and score it a half. And just slide it up and score it a half. There we go. Okay, so that's the flap. And for the pocket, you're just going to make score the 2 short ends and 1 long end at a 1/2 inch. Recording this and my phone, which is what I use for a camera, rang, and I'm afraid part of it didn't record. I hope everything's all right. Oh, if it is, this will be the 3rd time if I have to re-record it. But I'm going to continue on and we'll see where we're at. All right, so we have the flap that we just scored and the large pocket, and we're going to start with the pocket. So set the flap aside for now. And we're going to do this just like we just did all the other pockets. You're going to cut out the corners and trim these upper corners. Okay, there we go. And fold in the sides. Get our page, and this is going to go, okay, so here's that, it's going to go here, and I'm just doing a little dry fit to make sure it fits, and it does fit. Okay, okay, whoops. Just going to turn this over. Okay, my phone rang again. Okay, so where am I at? Okay, just make sure I have everything right. Okay, all right, so this is here, and this pocket needs to go on this side, on the left side. Okay. Fingers all in the glue. Oh my goodness, I didn't get that corner lined up very well. Let's do better than that. All right, just pushing that out a little because I put it a little short. Okay, there we go. All right. So now we've emulated the pocket that was on the other side on page 4. And then we're going to take this flap and we're going to put it on top so it looks just like page 4. I'm kind of creating a, oh, you know what? I think, did I want to put this pocket on this side? No, that's right. Oof, had a little panic attack there for a second. It's correct. All right. Let me grab page 4 so you can see. Okay, so this is going to be page 4, so you can see they're mirror imaged of each other. Okay. Okay. All right, so this flap is going to go here. And let's just trim out these corners. Go. And we probably are going to want a magnet for this one though. So let's go ahead and put that in. Got one right here. This is the one that I had out before. And let's put that right up there. That's good. And then grab a scrap. Oh, it's pretty big for a scrap. That's what I could find. And let's fold that over. Good. Okay, so there's that. That's page 5. And we're going to turn it over. This is going to be page 6. And this is actually the last page that we're adding things to right now because I haven't made up my mind completely about pages 7 and 8. I've got some ideas, but I'm not firmly committed yet. All right, so for page 6, we're going to do a stacked pocket here, okay? Horizontals. We do have some horizontal. So you need 2 pieces, one 6.5 by 6 and the other 6.5 by 4. Okay, our scoreboard. Back out, and again, we're going to score 2 short sides and 1 long side of each of these pieces at 1/2 inch. Whoops. Alright, so that's the shorter pocket. There are other ways to make stacked pockets other than the way I'm doing it, but I just want to do it this way. I like the volume it gives me in the pockets. There are ways that are less bulky, but they don't give you as much volume in the pocket to put things. fit. Looks good. All right. And then what we're going to do before we put this on is we're going to put the shorter pocket on top of this taller pocket, and then we'll add them together as one piece. Okay. You don't have to do it that way, but that's just how I'm going to do it. Whoop. Right. There's gunk on my bottle because I haven't put the pin back in as I should. Okay. I'm making a mess with this glue. Okay. I'll get my baby wipe here and wipe off some of that. Okay. All right, so this needs to go on the bottom of the pocket. And we want this sides in first. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we're going to take this piece and we're going to put it here on the outside of this pocket here. On the outside of that, okay. Okay. This. Goes there. Okay. And there's quite a lot of bulk here, so it might not be, let me see, a bad idea to just clamp that down with a few of these little baby clothespins, just to make sure it's really stuck down, especially on the corners. Whoops. Well, I'm just going to do this one because this one doesn't seem to want to stay there. Okay. So we're going to let that dry. And then the last page is the one I haven't made up my mind yet, so we don't have to do anything with that. So let's do a quick review and see where we're at. Okay. Right, so that's going to go there. And that's going to go there. Okay. And then I'm going to, while that's drying, I'll pick out some mats. And we'll get matting in the next video. Okay. So I'm going to review what we have, and then we'll call this a day. And then next time we'll do some matting. Okay. All right. So page 1 has this flap pocket situation going on. And then page 2 has these stacked pockets. Now, of course, all of the pages are going to have this pocket, and page 2 has this additional pocket. Okay, page 3 has a flap where we're going to put one of our cut aparts, and page 4 needs a magnet. Okay, so I'll do that also while we're you know, while you're away, because you saw how I did on this one. It'll be the same. And I'm just going to make myself a note so I don't forget it. Magnet. Okay. It'll be matted. You won't see that. Okay, so on this page we have a flap with the side pocket that's a natural part of the way we made our page. And then on this side, I won't be able to open it because we've got the little clips, but we have the same thing going on. We made a matching pocket flap. And then back here we have our double pockets with the side pocket. And then here, I haven't decided, but I'm leaning towards nothing here and leaving this free to decorate a little more heavily. And then back here, again, I have a few ideas for here, but I haven't fully made up my mind yet what I might want there. So we're just going to leave that page as is. All right. So go ahead and make all your pages. And next time we will start matting. And I'll go ahead and get the mats cut out. There will be a cut list for this on my blog, and I will link it down below. So you have all these pieces, you know, set out. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. I'll make a little, maybe I'll make a little title or something to let you know that you don't need to write all this stuff down. There's a cutting guide. And I guess that is it. I feel like I'm talking so fast. I'm sorry. Usually I'm kind of subdued on my channel. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Slowing down. I think we're going to enjoy this project together. I haven't worked with Stamperia in a little while, and I just love it. And I have several collections to work with that are sitting on my shelf, so I'm excited to get to work with this one. And next time we will mat, and I guess that's it. I think I said that like 5 times. All right. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Just hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next video. And like, comment, and share. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.